Welcome to Season 3 of Project Civic EK. It's been about 3 years since I started modifying my car to go to the racetrack, and this is the next step in that whole process. I wanted to start off this episode and let you guys know what's been going on with us. I know it's been about 3 or 4 months since my last video, and Rob's been absent from the channel for quite some time. He's been working on his car and he will have updates for you guys soon, but I wanted to let you guys know that the channel will be changing from here on out. The weekly videos that we've been doing for about 2 to 3 years, we just can't sustain that anymore. It's really grueling for us to have to make videos every single week and never ever have a break, and we both have been burnt out on that whole schedule because it's a full-time job to do this, and then we also have to go to our regular jobs. So what my plan is now is I'm going to start filming stuff and planning episodes ahead of time, then releasing it when everything is close to being done, so you guys get a better quality episode. I get the time to modify the car and build the episodes so you all can see the good content, but it also doesn't burn us out in the process. Because the problem is that Rob and I stopped having fun doing this whole process. So we want to bring the fun back, but we're going to have to cut back on doing weekly episodes. Ultimately, though, I think it'll benefit the viewer as well as us, because we're going to be able to have the time to build episodes that are entertaining to watch and just a better quality. I want you all to stay tuned after this episode. I have big news on what is to come in this season of Project Civic. Enough of me talking. Let's get started on what I have been doing in the last 3 months of the car. This is kind of an update video, as well as showing you some new mods that I've done on the car, but everything's been kind of small mods to get the car to be as reliable as possible when I go to the track.
First, I had an issue with an oil leak with the valve cover. That was my own dumb fault. Years ago, when I was putting the valve cover back on, I over-tightened this bolt, and you're seeing the hole right here where I tried to drill and tap a new set of threads, but there's not enough metal in that area to really get that to work. So I decided to just change out the rocker assembly. Here I'm just taking the valve cover off so I can gain access to that. This is really the only solution to this problem that's really cheap. You just have to go and get a new rocker assembly. So make sure you're in top dead center, and then you can start loosening your distributor and then work on loosening the bolts that hold the rocker assembly on. There are 14 bolts that hold the assembly in. You have to take them off in order and take them off slowly because the camshaft is under some pressure. So I am slowly undoing all the bolts in sequence. I actually removed some of the bolts, which you're not really supposed to do. It can kind of be hard to get them back in. So leave them in the holes, and then you can lift the assembly out. I found this EK with a Y7 that had just arrived at the junkyard maybe like a day or two before I got there. The rocker was in great condition, so I decided to pull it out and use it for my engine. It's a pretty easy install. This is the diagram of the sequence where you tighten the bolts back down, and it's really just the same as removal, just kind of opposite, obviously. Tighten it down slowly in stages and then check over everything. Make sure you're in top dead center, and then you can do a valve lash adjustment. Mine was pretty out of spec, so I used my gauges and made sure everything was back in line with the Honda factory specs. Next, I went ahead and changed my cam gear gasket. It's a pretty easy install. You remove the old one and then really just put in a new one using a socket and a hammer. And as you can see, it was actually leaking pretty badly from this area, so I'm glad I went ahead and did that. You will have to take the timing belt off, but it's definitely worth it since you have it all apart. Now just put everything back together, reassemble everything with the new gasket and Honda bond, and everything is back together and in good condition. Super happy that I did this so I don't lose any oil on track. So next I decided to go ahead and wrap my header. I had pulled it off to redo my oil pan gasket. So while it was off, I decided this would be a good time to wrap the header with a titanium wrap. A YouTuber of ours had told us that wrapping his header really changed the engine bay temp, so I decided to do it because the header really was still radiating a large amount of heat in the engine bay, and I really want to try to keep as much heat out of the intake as possible. Before I started, I made sure to put on gloves. I didn't want to get all itchy from handling the wrap for a long period of time. You want to try and plan out how you're going to wrap this first, because obviously the pipes are very close to each other at the bottom near the collector. I think I'm going to try to wrap some of them together, at least partial way up the pipe. What I'm planning on doing, I think, is wrapping these two pipes by themselves, probably up to this point, to the O2 sensor, and then this pipe I'll wrap starting probably around here up, and then this one somewhere around the same, like here, and then I'll take it and wrap the collector around all four, come through here, wrap all these two, and then I guess I could take it to the two and then wrap this one last, which I might do. So I'll wrap this one partially and then save this one. So I'll go 4, 2, 1 on the last bit. I start out by sort of measuring how much wrap I will need for each section. So then I just cut off that section and begin to start wrapping it. At first I decided to not wet the wrap to see how it would go, but it really wasn't as tight as I was wanting to get it, so I decided to change up my method and redo this pipe here. The process itself isn't too difficult. You just have to wrap it over itself about a 1/4 inch each time you go around each pipe. But really that's it. And then you make sure you have enough pressure as you're going through and wrapping it, holding it as tight as possible. And then at the ends, I go ahead and fold over the kind of frayed edges, because each time you cut it, it kind of frays. So fold that over and tuck it underneath, and then you use the steel zip ties to go ahead and zip tie it down onto the pipe and keep it secure. I use the needle nose pliers to kind of make sure that the zip ties are as tight as I possibly can get them, and then you clip the edges and you're good to go. I'm wrapping the collector down here, and then I'm going to come up on the last two pipes. And I think planning it out is definitely very important. It really helped me not have to go back and redo things a bunch of times, which I'm notoriously known for. So once I finish wrapping the downpipe section, I just go ahead and put everything back together. It all came out really good. I think it looks cool, which is always a bonus, but I think my main purpose in doing this is the function part. I need to keep all the heat out of the engine bay as much as possible so the engine can put out as much power as it can, and all the components work at their best abilities. So as you noticed, it started up right away. I was super happy about that because taking apart the top of the engine and removing the timing belt can really scare you a little bit. But everything was fine. Don't worry, the heat wrap is supposed to smoke like that. For the first few startups, it will do that, and then it'll be good to go. So that ticking sound you're hearing is from the valves being out of spec, and I'm really glad I went ahead and did the valve adjustment, because now you're going to hear after, and the difference is noticeable.
That's what's been going on since I have been off the track and off of YouTube. I think the engine now is the best it's been in years. Doing the adjustments I've done and stopping any oil leaks has made the engine respond better, and it's just functioning the best that it can. So I'm really excited to get back to the track. So let me tell you what the future is going to hold in the next few episodes. I have this whole season planned out. I have partnered with 3 brands to step the car up and make it more race ready. I've partnered with K-Tuned and Hone Developments to redo my suspension. I'm going to get race spec coilovers and LCAs from K-Tuned, and then Hone Developments is sending me their rear roll center brackets so I can install that on the car and get it ready to be more aggressive on track. Then I'm going to be taking it back to the track to show you guys what the actual benefit is of these mods. I'm going to the track soon with the setup as it is before I do that install of all that suspension stuff, to show you all the actual progression of lap times and to show you how fast the car has become. So after the suspension stuff, I have partnered with M Factory to rebuild my Z6 transmission. That way I can show you the true potential of a D-Series engine in a race environment, and show you that you don't need to do an engine swap to actually go faster on track. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to our channel to follow the updates on the car. This season's going to be good, trust me. Robbie will also be having updates on his EG. He's been working on it while we've been gone, and he will be out at the track at our next track day in a couple episodes. So he'll have videos for you as well. Please like, comment, and share our videos. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and also go to our website if you're interested in any of the stickers. And I'll see you guys next time.